Montae Nicholson, remind us, had the controversy at the end of last season. What is his status? What exactly happened there?
Yeah, so he got into essentially a bar fight outside of a bar.
Yep.
And
one Loudon will get you. You got
and
to be careful out there.
One Loudon, after midnight, the freaks come out.
Yeah, so I've heard. And Montae quite decisively won that fight, and that turned into him and his girlfriend getting arrested.
I think his girlfriend got into a fight with another girl before he got into a fight with the guy.
Right. It was a 2-on-2 match, and they went 2-0.
Right.
So they and not to be glib about that, but that's what happened.
It's okay.
So,
but he's got to be smarter than that.
So ended up missing the season, but there was a lot of other stuff going on with him too, and really serious complications following multiple concussions, and he just I still don't really have a full understanding of why he was playing football last year, and apparently whatever was going on, they figured out. He seems in a much, much better place. Like, you still having blurry vision and some really scary stuff. And it was affecting kind of his day-to-day life, his moods, his ability to process information, all this kind of stuff. And if he's right and is back to the way he was as a rookie before he got hurt, he's a really, really good football player. And that's kind of what the piece is today. And I think, honestly, he's the biggest wild card they have this season, because if you're looking for playmakers on that defense that has a ton of good players but really needs some playmaking, some guys that can go make impact plays, whether that's hits, interceptions, whatever, he's the kind of guy that can do that. He has the skill set. He's really big. He's really physical, and he's really, really fast. And so if he can take those raw physical traits and turn them into what it looked like he was on track for as a rookie, then their upside goes way up. If not, it's not just a problem because, he's not making plays. The other options at free safety are not good. It's Troy Apke or DeShazer Everett pairing with Landon Collins, and DeShazer's more of a strong safety who is a better replacement for Collins if something happens with Landon. And Troy Apke he was Troy Apke last year, and that was a disaster of a rookie
All right,
season.
But he's going to get better. Troy's going to get better.
He can't get worse.
Yeah.
Like, he literally cannot get worse, or he will not be in the league.
I know for this for a fact, he put a lot of work in the offseason to get his body back in shape. And
great.
I'm not saying he's going to be a superstar, but he's going to be better.
I like Troy. I've enjoyed talking to him. I think he's a sharp kid, and he cares, he tries. He just last year couldn't have gotten worse. It's not an attack on him personally. It's the reality of how bad he was last year.
Right.
He could not stay on the field, and when he was on the field, he got smoked, and he wasn't ready for the NFL. And hopefully this year he's ready. He has an understanding, obviously, of what it takes, having played the little bit that he did. But still, the much, much, much higher upside is Montae Nicholson's awesome. And so from the potential upside to the potential downside, he is, to me, one of the biggest wild cards they have, and that's why he's number 8 today.
How would you grade the starting 4 in the secondary? Moreau, Collins, Everett, let's assume Everett, and then Josh. How would you grade those 4 guys just before the camp starts?
Well, one thing, as I would say, it's probably not going to be Moreau. I think it's going to be Dunbar.
Okay, all right. So if it's Dunbar,
see.
How would you grade that unit?
I think it's one of their stronger. I think he's a good NFL player. Not great. Still needs to be more consistent, but I think Quentin Dunbar is a good NFL player. I think Josh Norman's a really good NFL player. And if some things go right and they use him a little bit better and the D-line is what it is and allows him to take a few more chances, I think he could still be the kind of guy that he was in Carolina. My hope on that is fading, but he hasn't really lost any physical skill, so he still should be capable of it. It's just in Carolina he was surrounded by a lot better players and was able to do some things that he couldn't do here. And so we'll see if he can take advantage of the opportunities he gets too, because he's certainly dropped a few too many interceptions over the last couple of years for anyone's liking, including his own. I think Landon's a really good football player. Again, I don't know if great's the right word, but like Pro Bowl level, maybe not all pro level, and there's a difference. He's not Earl Thomas, he's not your best safeties in the league, but he's really good at what he does, and what he does is really valuable. for a team that had some trouble in the run game last year and run support, and a guy coming down, takes good angles, sure tackler. And then, as I said, Montae is the wild card. So I think it's a B to B plus unit. I do think it's one that I have high hopes for. And it's going to come down to that free safety spot, is that giant wild card, to see just how solid they are. And then they have depth too, I would say, at corner. They actually have a fair amount of depth. Guys I like, Moreau is okay. He's solid. Stroman's played. We'll see if, he's to make Adonis Alexander. His body looks good. He bulked up a little bit, but can he get on the field? What does he look like? Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie coming in as a veteran. What does he have left in the tank? So they've got some interesting depth, and that's one of the things that I'll write about leading up to camp in these 10 stories in 10 days. I can't remember if it's 5 or 4 or wherever it is on the list, but trying to figure out who's going to be on the team there and exactly how they play that unit out. But from a starter standpoint, I do honestly like what they have.
So, Craig, a lot of, obviously, since the draft, our attention's been paid to Haskins and when's he going to get in there and when's he going to get his opportunity. I think it's up in the air. We don't know. But the guy that I'm really excited about, no one's really talking about, and we're kind of forgotten about, I think, is Montez Sweat. What can you tell me about Montez and how he's looked so far and how quickly we're going to see him in the lineup? Just give me sort of the latest, because all of our attention is focused on
excited about
Haskins,
him, aren't you?
but Sweat's the guy that really made the first round.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think that's where everyone went, oh, Redskins are serious right now.
Yeah.
And obviously there's other teams that looked at that when the Redskins are idiots because his heart, but with it, and so far he's ready to go. He's going to show up at training camp and it's not going to be a thing. He's going to go play football. And you hope it stays that way and that there is no serious long-term thing, because if there's not, they stole him. He was a top 15, top 10 player. And those kind of players are the true game changers. This is a roster, and it's funny because it kind of came up this week via the Madden ratings because, it's 2019 and that's where we are. But they have one guy who rates in the 90s on Madden, and it's Trent Williams. And that's correct. They don't have anybody else who's that good. Ryan Kerrigan and Jordan Reed are your next best players, and I don't think Ryan is on that elite level, despite the fact that he produces a lot of sacks. I don't think a guy with his sack numbers, he necessarily gets the number of other pressures, and his play against the run comes and goes a little bit. And obviously Jordan is awesome when he's out there, but when he's out there has been not as often as you'd like. And so for Montez, he's a guy that has that upside. I don't know whether it happens as a rookie, but I think he's going to flash. I think there's going to be games where you just go, what planet is this guy from? Because there's no way he's the same species I am. He's so absurdly athletic. He is 6'6", runs a 4.4. All the stuff is just legitimately off the charts in terms of his athleticism. And so how quickly he can develop that into being a great NFL football player is going to be the answer to who is the next super elite Washington Redskins football player, because I think he has that kind of potential.
Is he going to start right away?
He will be in the rotation right away. Who's technically out there for the first snap, I don't know, but they're going to have, I think, 3 starters basically, even though there's only 2 spots. Ryan Anderson and Ryan Kerrigan, I assume, will play. Kerrigan with a slightly higher skew, but those 3 guys are going to play a ton of snaps, and Anderson and Sweat will, it doesn't wind up being 50-50 because Kerrigan's not going to play 100% on the other side. Sweat and Anderson will play some together. So they'll have to figure out exactly how that rotates, and sometimes it might change per game. Who's hot? Who has a good matchup? What's the other team doing? Do you need more pass rush or more run stopping? Because Anderson's awesome against the run, although Sweat can play the run as well. So it's going to be a starter's caliber dosage for Sweat, I believe, pretty quick into his rookie year, if not immediately.